Today we're making a soft, light and hairy vanilla cake using icing sugar. And trust me, you're going to love how delicate and fluffy this turns out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now this recipe is a little different from your classic vanilla cake. It uses separated eggs, icing sugar to give it a fluffy and delicate texture. It's perfect for when you want something that feels light on the tongue but still rich in flavor. So grab your ingredients and let's get right into it. First, we're going to start with our dry ingredients. In a mixing bowl, I'm adding in my flour, baking powder, and just a pinch of salt. Give that a good mix using a whisk or even a spoon. We're doing this to evenly distribute the baking powder and salt throughout the flour. This helps to ensure that the cake rises evenly when baked. Now in a second bowl, I'm going to be adding my egg yolks, and then I'm also going to be adding my icing sugar. I already separated my egg white from my egg yolks earlier. So it's always better for you to separate cold eggs. That way you're able to get all of your yolks out of your egg. So that's like a trick to separating your egg whites from your yolk successfully, so that you don't have any form of egg whites in your yolk. So I'm going to be adding my icing sugar into my yolk. So now icing sugar has a much finer texture, finer grains than the granulated sugar, and this helps to give the cake a super smooth and delicate crumb. I'm going to be using my hand mixer here and beating the mixture on medium to high speed. So what we're looking for is a texture that is thick and pale yellow in color. This step will take a few minutes, so you don't have to rush it. You can also use your stand mixer for this step if you don't want to use your hand mixer. So now the goal here is to incorporate air into the egg yolks and dissolve the sugar fully. Once it looks smooth and the color has lightened, then you know you're ready for the next step. Next up, I'm going to be adding my vanilla flavor. So anytime you're working with flavor, please always endeavor to use good quality vanilla for the best flavor. I always mention this in my videos. So now I'm going to mix in my vanilla before I go in with my unsalted butter. Now note that anytime you're working with your ingredients, like when you're baking, always endeavor to use ingredients that are at room temperature. For example, if you're using unsalted butter, you know, of course your unsalted butter will come out of your fridge. Make sure that the butter you're using is already soft and is already at room temperature. Then let's say you need milk for a particular recipe, make sure that your milk is also at room temperature. And then I mentioned earlier that when you want to separate your egg white from your yolk easily, you should separate cold eggs. So once you've separated your egg yolks from your egg whites, please just make sure it comes back to room temperature before you use it to bake. It's always best to use ingredients, except the recipe indicates otherwise. Always make sure that you use your ingredients at room temperature. Next, I'm going to be adding my unsalted butter, and as I mentioned earlier, make sure you work with ingredients that are room temperature. So your butter should be soft and at room temperature so that it mixes easily. So I'm going to be beating that into the milk, into the egg yolk mixture until everything is nicely combined. So what you're looking for is you want your butter to be smooth at this point, and then it's going to look a little bit thick, but that's totally fine. So we're just going to mix this for a while till everything is well incorporated. Now I'm going to be going in with my flour, and this is going to thicken the batter a little more, and the batter is going to be heavier. But don't worry, we'll be lightening it up soon with our whipped egg white. Remember, we separated the egg yolks from the egg whites. So you just mix this until everything is fully incorporated. So now it's time to work with the egg whites. Make sure your bowl is completely clean and dry. Any grease or moisture can stop the egg whites from whipping properly. I'm using my hand mixer again, and I'm going to be beating the egg whites until they reach stiff peaks. So that means when you lift the beaters, the peaks should stand straight up and not flop over. This process will take about it's going to take a few minutes, so you have to be very patient. And then the whipped egg whites is actually key to getting that airy texture in your final cake. So this step is actually very important, so make sure you whip it very well until you get stiff peaks. And then you can also use your stand mixer. It's not compulsory to use your hand mixer as I'm doing in the video. Use your stand mixer. The stand mixer would actually help you to get to stiff peaks faster, and then you don't have to like stress your muscles. You get, so stand mixer or hand mixer, anyone is fine. So we're going to be whipping this until we get stiff peaks, and then we move on to the next step. I'm done whipping my egg whites. I've gotten stiff peaks, and now, so this is the most delicate step. I'm going to be folding in the egg whites into the batter. So I'm going to be doing this in batches, starting with about 1/3 of the egg whites. I'll first gently mix and fold it up. You're going to be folding it in using a spatula. Don't stir it, please. Don't beat it, just fold it in. So when you add the first addition, it helps loosen up the thick batter, so it's easier to incorporate the rest. So I'll keep adding it little by little, and as I said, please don't stir. Don't mix it like you're mixing hamala. You get, all you need to do is to fold it in like I'm doing in the video, because you don't want to lose any air that you've incorporated into your egg white. So you need to gently fold it in. The batter should look light and hairy when you're done, with no streaks of white remaining. I'm using a lined sheet pan for this cake. So you have to make sure that it is well greased and lined with parchment paper. You can use parchment paper or baking paper or brown paper if that is what you have in your bakery, but I use some baking paper. So parchment, I think parchment paper is different from baking paper. I'm not sure. I think one is thicker than the other. I'm actually not really sure. So then you're going to be pouring your butter into the pan, and then you gently spread it out to the edges. Then you can also use an offset spatula or back of a spoon to smoothen it out. So because you want it nice and even, so that when your cake bakes, it bakes evenly, and like that's the essence of it. So you can use a normal pan. It doesn't have to be a sheet pan like I've used in the video. You can use a normal pan, but I just wanted to bake my own in a sheet pan and cut it into cubes, you get. So but you can bake it in your regular round pan, square pan, heart shape pan and whatnot. It doesn't have to be a sheet pan like I've used in the oven. And then also remember that you should have preheated your oven. So while you're mixing your cake batter, always make sure that you've started preheating your oven, so that your like it's your oven should be well preheated, like properly preheated before you put your cake. So I'm just spreading it out so that my cake can bake evenly when it goes into the oven. And then you should also bake at 180 to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 to 35 minutes. Depending on your oven, it might take a little less or a little more time. Like for example, if you use the deck oven, your temperature might be different, you get. But for one if you're using the regular kitchen oven gas cooker, you can bake at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on what your gas cooker. You know, there are some gas cooker that comes in Celsius, while some comes in a Fahrenheit and some gas mark. So it depends on what you have on your oven. You bake for about 30 to 35 minutes depending on your oven. It might take a little less time or a little more time. You will know when it's ready when a skewer inserted in the middle comes out clean. So here's the final result. Just look at how soft and fluffy that looks. The texture is super light thanks to the whipped egg whites and icing sugar here. So the essence of using the whipped egg whites and the icing sugar is to get a super light texture, and then the flavor is actually very rich as well. So you can serve this cake as it is, or you can dust it with icing sugar. You can top it with whipped cream and berries just for a beautiful dessert. So let me know in the comments if you tried this recipe. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also hit the bell so you never miss a baking tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.